Hey guys, just thought I would give you a little video because all the uncertainty right now, I've been seeing a lot of stress, and all the people who are due exams this year are under a lot of pressure. Everything's uncertain, they're worried, they're scared. We still don't fully know how we're getting our results, so I thought I would answer a few questions that I've received. The focus for today will be a lot on productivity, time management, motivation, and then I'm going to try and lighten a few of your fears and concerns, because hopefully that will help you all, because a healthy mind is a happy mind, and that's good for study. First question is from one of my good friends from the Studygram community. She's worried. Her exams are cancelled, so she didn't think she would have any more work to do, but she does, and she just really doesn't feel any motivation to do it at all. And I was the same way. We found out on Wednesday that schools were closing, Friday that there's no exams. We're still uncertain. I, for one, haven't had any online lessons, but I know a few of you are. Because of that, it has just changed, but we were told we could reset our exams, sit our exams in September, once everything's blown over, if we don't like the grades we're given. But now that it's just been changed, there's no exams this summer. We have to wait until 2021, and it's not what we thought it would be. Another way I like to look at motivating myself, other than resitting the exams, because I don't think I can wait a whole other year, especially if I still have my place at Durham. I don't want to waste all that time when I could be there getting into my course and having fun. So all the work I'm doing now, because I do classical civilization and ancient history, it's the same as what I'm applying to do at university, because I'm taking classical studies. So everything I'm going to keep teaching myself. I'm going to cover the unit we haven't started yet. I'm going to keep revising, either if I take an exam, if I need to submit any more essays. But most of all, it's preparing me for my course. And that's what I really want to do. I'm enjoying the studying. We need the stability in our lives, so I'm acting just like everything is still the same, following the same methods that I would. Structure really is just important to feeling motivated. So keep preparing yourself, especially if you're doing some of the same courses when you go to college or university. It's really going to help you in the long run. Just because exams are over doesn't mean we have to stop learning. You can if you want to, if you have the opportunity. But if not, just keep going. To me, it's actually fun and I enjoy it. Then one of my friends from college has asked me how I'm structuring my day without any schools. Each weekday, I've been waking up at 7 every morning. It's a little later than I would for college, but once I get up, I still don't have to be dressed. I can still sit in bed. I scribble down a little to-do list, brain dump everything I want to try and get done today. And I go through it and prioritise. So I'll write it down. I'll be like, this really needs to be done. Like, this essay's due tomorrow. I go for the other little things, so it doesn't have to just be schoolwork. Today I've got make my YouTube video, edit my video. Yeah, as well as structure, I like to put it on Adapt app. If you haven't heard of it, it's study-based to-do list. But you don't just have to include schoolwork. I think it's really good. You can add little subtasks. So the bigger tasks, like tidying my entire room, I can break it into putting my washing away, changing my bedding, tidying my desk, hoovering, and then I get to tick off a little bit at a time, so it's not all overwhelming. I really like that aspect. As I said, during the weekdays, now there's no school, college timetables are very different to secondary school, or wherever you are in the world. But during the times I would have lessons, I like to just focus on that subject. And if I have the work to do for that lesson, it's even better. and that helps me structure everything just like it was normal. So like yesterday, 1 p.m. Monday, I will only do ancient history work, and the unit we were in when we left was Roman Britain. So for now I'm just doing that. And then at 2:30 it's classics. It depends if I've got all the ancient history work I wanted to do done, but I would try and keep it strict. It's just difficult when it's what goes from one lesson straight into another, because I do like to overstep. But then it is a stressful time. My mental health is not great right now considering the situation, so you have to give yourself time for self-care. Yesterday I brought Animal Crossing. Break up my time, give me something nice to look forward to. And if you haven't got a game you enjoy, which to be honest is fair, I would typically break things up, especially study sessions, with a YouTube video. Something fun and entertaining. Your favourite gaming YouTuber or lifestyle vlogger, whatever you really want. It can be studying, that's what I do sometimes. Yeah, for the people without online lessons, it's another question. She is expected to teach herself without any online lessons. She's a GCSE student, so things are uncertain. She doesn't really have all the material she needs, because in secondary school you're given what you need when you need it, and she just doesn't know what to do. So my advice is, if you have your textbooks, use them. They're always a good place to start. So I do OCR for classics and ancient history, and I really like these as they have companion websites with all the sources you need, any additional information. So there's everything you need to cover per topic in a unit, which is really helpful. It's got all your prescribed bits and pieces. I wouldn't rely just on the textbook. You can always start there. Other things I'd recommend using, I'm using these for English since they don't have my other courses on it, but I would use Seneca Learning and Snap Revise. The free versions work just as well as the paid subscriptions, so you don't have to pay unless you really want, and they're very helpful, small, nicely broken down, easy to understand. But if you're really lost and confused and you don't have the textbook, you don't know what to do, use AdaptApp. It has every course for GCSE and A level in the UK, and there it's broken down by your topics and your unit, and it will suggest something like every day. And it's really helpful to understand what you need to do and how you need to do it. And you can, once you've completed a topic or a unit or a section of it, you can log how you feel about that aspect. And it's got like 3 different smiley faces. If you go for the green smile, you're done. It doesn't recommend it anymore. You can always go back though, it doesn't stop you. If you're not too comfortable or confident, it will keep suggesting it to you until when you've said your deadline to do it all is. And it's even better because it's free. You don't have to pay anything. It's nicely laid out. But most of all, pace yourself. You really don't want to get burnt out, especially now that you're home. You can do as much as or as little as you want without the restraints of school. But you need to remember, don't overdo it. You can have plenty of breaks, do what you can manage. I can't go any longer than 2 hours without my brain just... So I need to have like a half-hour break every 2 hours, or sometimes more, it's depending on how I'm feeling. But not getting burnt out and keeping yourself refreshed and energized will really make your learning more effective. Similar to not having anything to do, no online lessons. Someone else said, I have all the resources I need, but I can't stay motivated. I just find I'm getting really bored with my work. Now this, to me, sounds like a prime example of a burnout. If you are really struggling, give yourself a day off completely. Don't do or think about any learning. You don't have to feel guilty about it. It's a really stressful time, and I've even been having problems staying motivated. I've had to give myself more frequent breaks because you just can't fathom all of this at once. You feel so lost and empty and confused, and trying to cram your brain with all your work is just making everything so much worse. So what I like to do if I'm not motivated, I like to look at some inspirational quotes, and I would watch some Studytubers. And if it is a burnout, I'd recommend watching Jack Edwards' video on a burnout, which he had recently, and how he was overcoming this. And if there is something I really need to get done, but I just can't motivate myself to do, like if I have an essay due in an hour, I would put on a real-time study with me video. I did post one of them. It's my last video. You can go check that out if you think that would help. I really do like Jack Edwards for videos like that. And I find it's really helpful because I feel less alone, and just looking up at my laptop screen and seeing someone else studying motivates me to do the same, because I kind of feel bad sitting there not doing my work because I see it as another person is there in person with me. But if none of that works, make sure you have a good night's sleep. My sleep schedule has been horrendous since the news. A couple of days ago, I had 2 hours sleep, and I really struggled to do any work that day. I managed to write a 20-mark essay. That's all I could get done. I just couldn't focus. So to be productive, you need to ensure you have at least 8 hours sleep. If you don't, it badly affects your studying, I know. Your health, mental and physical, should always come first, above your studying. Just keep yourself healthy and happy, and then your study sessions will be as productive as you possibly can make them. And similar to that, someone has asked, how can I prioritise work that needs to get done and get myself back into studying after the break, such as when schools were closed and we didn't know what we were doing? And then they also asked, how can I refresh my mind after a long study session? So like I said at the start of the video, make a brain dump of everything you want to get done, but this time don't do it just for the day, do it for the week or such. And from there, rank them on what needs to be done first, like I already said. And then I will transfer it into AdaptApp, but now I spread it across the week. So if I have an essay due tomorrow and an essay due in 3 or 4 days time, today I would do the essay due tomorrow. So tomorrow I will at least get the plan for the second essay done and try to write it if I have time. But go careful. You don't want to overload yourself. And it is really difficult to get yourself back into studying after you've had a stressful long break. So you should build it up slowly. So don't go back into a full day writing essays or doing past papers. That's really not going to work. Don't do an essay on your first day either. Do something gentle in comparison, such as note-taking or reading, and give yourself as many breaks as you need. And then after a day or two, you can move on to things such as essays and more intensive work. But you still need to have breaks. No matter what, no one can do a whole day without a break. Even if it's just 30 minutes of work and 5 minutes checking your phone, that's still a break. And most of all, don't forget to stay hydrated. That's always really important. I know coffee is probably not the best, but coffee. And then for the question on how to refresh your mind, I like to have at least 1 hour. If it's been really long, like 3-4 hours studying. And during this time, I'll go for a little walk, either walking around the house, go out in the garden or the street. I would give myself 5-10 minutes for that. I'll then have a cup of tea or some water and a healthy snack. My favourites are usually blueberries or a carrot. Sometimes I chuck in a couple of nuts. But that's only if I feel like I need one. I won't have a snack just for the sake of it. And then this question is something I'm sure a lot of us have faced following the news. Someone asked me, how can I motivate myself to get out of bed? I feel like I lack a purpose now. There's no exams. I don't know what I'm doing. And from here, make yourself a very small plan. Just a couple of things that are easy that you want to do, just to get you out of bed. Like, go down and make yourself a cup of tea, because no one can make a tea better than you can yourself. Or, adapt. Whatever you do, it doesn't have to be studying, like I've already said. It's satisfying to tick off tasks. And it's been proven that ticking off a to-do list motivates you and you're more likely to get things done. And then after all of that, when you've ticked off all your tasks, there's a cute little blue screen and confetti comes up, and it's really rewarding just to see that. And similar to that, someone asked me, how do I stimulate myself now that I'm not in school? And this, I'm sure, is difficult for all of us. I'm sure things are difficult. Well, things are difficult, especially when you're trying to stimulate yourself. And if you haven't been set any work, no online learning, you're told to wait until July comes and you get your grades, and then you don't know what's happening after that. Something you can do, if you're going to university this year in September, email them, ask for your course reading list, and then read up. You're preparing yourself and giving yourself something to do. It's definitely giving you a purpose. Another thing I would do is see if you want to rearrange your room. Change is always fun, and that gives you something to do, and it's not stressing yourself too much because you're not trying to do a lot of work at once. Or if you don't want to do that, take up a new hobby. Try something you haven't done before. Give yourself something that will interest you and give you something to do, because we're stuck in the house. It's not like we can go on a little holiday. It's not a break. We don't have anything to do. So try something new. Give yourself something to do. Watch a new series on Netflix. Disney Plus came out today. Watch The Mandalorian. Find something just to make you feel better. Our mental health is important right now. We need it. And then if you are trying to study, and so another question is, how do I motivate myself to study? I always manage to get distracted. So one thing I like to do if I'm really struggling and getting distracted is after each task or a section in a textbook, I put a square of my favourite chocolate there. I have to do all the work to get there. And then the final question was, where can I find good revision resources? So there are a lot. Either I use them now, or I use them for my GCSEs, or I've just heard really good things about them. So I'm going to chuck them up here. There's going to be quite a lot, so it's definitely more than 5. But I'll also leave a link in the description, as well as some good YouTube accounts. There is a lot. It really depends what you're doing, so have a look. A lot of these are general, so there are a lot of obscene courses out there. Like ancient history and classical civilization, I don't think you really would have heard of that. And it's not like there is a specific resource I can dedicated to it. Like you have Mr. Bruff, he does English. There's a lot of sites for general history, but you don't see them going for having classical sections. So you'll find things about World War I, World War II, the Tudors, the American Revolution, the monarchy, but you won't see them for my subjects, which is difficult. So I always recommend having a look, and then you can find things you need, because no one will have every resource there is. And it's part of the fun looking. You can see what you like and what helps you and what's in the style you can best learn from. So I'll leave it there. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope it helped with some of your fears and concerns. If you want to see more videos like this or anything else, drop a comment and I'll try my best to do it. I mean, knowing me, I probably will. There's not much to do anymore. I don't know what's going to happen, so I'm just taking every day as it comes. Also, like and subscribe, because I'm still quite small, and it will show me that you're really interested. Anyway, bye guys!